How's it going, everybody? Well, today it's tree cutting time, and I'm actually going to show you how to do it. But first, I'm actually going to go see if I have anything left that I didn't pick up last time I cut wood, and if not, I'll definitely have to cut some more. I got to strap you up to my head with a GoPro mount, so you're going to get the same view that I've got. So you're going to get to walk with me and see this step by step by step. So in the meantime, while I'm getting this ridiculous head rig on, I'm going to go ahead and make sure you guys have a decent view. It's pretty awesome up here, isn't it? All right. Sorry for the jolt, guys. Okay. So, as you can see, there's a lot of snow up here. And right in front of me right there is actually where I'm gonna hike up. So that's where I hiked up last time. You see all those leaners up there. You got to keep in mind, if you're going to come out wood cutting and stuff, those leaners, grab my trusty old saw real quick, those leaners right there are what we like to call widow makers. Not really something great. You don't want to be cutting underneath them. As a matter of fact, you're going to want to cut them out of the way right away if you're going to be planning on working anywhere near them. In the meantime, I got to get up over this gnarly snowbank. Yeah. Watch your step around here. You can sink all the way down to your waist. Make sure you have your saw chaps on too, by the way, when you're out cutting wood. You don't want to cut a leg off. So as you can see right here, there's this little notch right here. This is actually my footpath from last time. And there's a little hole right here. So I'm going to put some knee stomps in just like that. Kind of like you would if you were backcountry skiing. Whoop, nope, that didn't work. I just went down all the way to my hip. Alrighty then. Well, looks like we're post-holing today, folks. All right. Okay, got a good foothold there, stomped it down. Okay. Well, this is the first hassle of having to go get firewood in the springtime. Stomping out your boot pack to be able to even get up the mountain. Okay, there's one. Let's go ahead and stomp in this next one. Right about there. Bingo. Okay, so as you can see, this is my old trail from my last video. And still post holing about ankle deep, almost knee deep. You hear how quiet it is out here? It's totally awesome. So I'm at about 6,300 feet right now. And one thing you got to worry about elevation is you don't have the lungs that you would normally have. So keep that in mind if you're ever thinking about high altitude hikes. Okay, so let me get a little bit of a breath real quick. Okay, you see all these leaners over here? Those ones right there, those ones right there. You look up at the treetops. Pardon the sun, I hope that helps. But if you look at the treetops and you see all the dead ones, that's what you're going for. You want to make sure they're dead all the way up to the top and pine cone free, if possible. The reason you want pine cone free is because there's less probability the tree still has any moisture left in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my hike up here. It's a little bit easier, not really. So up in right over there is where I cut all my wood last time. And I think I left almost a full tree laying down, which is probably gonna be buried now, unfortunately. So I'll make sure to come collect that a little bit later. But yeah, so this is how I get my firewood. And this is the hikes that I have to do. And honestly, it's how you stay in shape. And if you're wondering how I get them out, I cut them into lengths to sling them up on my shoulder, actually. So, not always the greatest thing. But anyway, not really my preferred spot. Uphill hike in the woods in the snow. I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for this boot pack trail I put in last time, this would be a nightmare. All right, so you see that one right there? That's a perfect candidate, so's the one next to it. After that, see that leaner out in the background? You might want to cut that one too. But first, let's make it over to them. Now, depending on the size of the tree, will honestly depend. Man, this is tiring. It will honestly depend on whether you drag it out in one piece or if you cut it up. That big one I'd cut up. That other bigger one behind it, I'd probably cut into 2 or 3 pieces and drag out. This little guy right in front of me would go out in one piece. So, always keep in mind these lodgepole pine, they look dead. That's why you have to look at the tops. These things look dead. And it looks like everything that I cut before is buried. For sure. All right, well, we'll start with that one. Let me just work my way over to it. Now keep in mind, when you are in terrain like this, pay attention to the way birds sound, because a lot of mountain lions chirp like birds. So you have to be really careful. All right, so now that I'm at this tree, took forever just to make the hike, you want to assess what way it's already leaning, okay? And then you want to assess the wind. Which way is the wind blowing the treetops? Because the last thing you want to do is try to fall it in a direction that's against the wind, because that could be dangerous. So you circle all the way around the tree. I'm looking up. Okay, so I'm gonna try and fall this one that way. So before I fire this thing up and actually show you, what you're gonna wanna do when you're cutting down trees is you're gonna wanna cut at an angle like this, back up, okay? And you wanna cut about to there. Then you're gonna come in right behind it like that, and you're gonna cut it, okay? Now you always cut it a little bit higher, but you cut all the way in almost to where you meet that, and the tree should start falling on its own. So if you'll forgive the noise, let's go ahead and give this a shot. Come on. I guess it would help if I primed it, huh? Okay, cold fires. Come on. Don't do this to me. Oh, she just wants to play hardball today. I probably should have tried to pre-start it. There we go. And there you have it. You see that cut? That's how you safely down a tree. I'm gonna shut this off for a second and set it down now that I have somewhere to set it down, not in the snow. All right. So, let me take this off my head for a second. Okay, so, you see how I cut up like this? And I cut up with it slightly going downhill, but falling the direction I wanted it to fall. That's so that you ensure your fall direction. Then this cut right here is to relieve all of the pressure left in the tree. You have to cut this higher. If you cut it even, the tree will go either way. If you cut it lower, it could fall back on you, okay? So keep that in mind. Take a good look at this cut. Pause the video if you have to. I totally understand. But just in case you were wondering, if you ever need to cut down a tree, that's how you do it. Now it's time to hack them up and haul them out. So I'm going to throw this thing back on my head and we'll get started on that. I'll tell you what, if you're not used to hiking, whew, you might want to get used to hiking when you're doing this. Okay, so this is a good sized tree, honestly. This is a really good sized tree. I like this tree. This is going to be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting it up on sections that I can go ahead and walk out of here. And I mean walk by like up on my shoulder. So this is roughly about a 6 to 7 inch round tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into sections that I have a feeling I can carry and I can anchor to my trailer safely. So I'm thinking right about here. Don't want to step in there. Woo! See what I mean? Let's get around that. Come on, get off me. Thank you. That's better. Yeah, right about here. Probably do one more and call it good. Right about here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off. So now it's time to carry these things out one by one. Whew, which is never the fun part. But honestly, you grab it just like that. Find yourself a good piece you can hold on to. Break all the rest of these off. And honestly, you pick it up like a bazooka. Let's get all that snow off of there real quick. Just like a bazooka. Just like that. I throw them up on my shoulder, and as you can see, my shadow. And this is how I haul my wood out. All the time. I don't have sleds. I don't have ropes that I use. I do it just like this, as you can see my shadow. That way, I get my workout. And as you can see, I'm still sinking to the same depth, but this is in fact my boot pack. So I'm not sinking as much. And then when I get down to the bottom over here, I'm actually not even gonna go all the way down. I'm just gonna kind of throw these onto the snowbank so I can pull my trailer forward. So this is how I get firewood. A nice, slow, relaxing process that's kind of like a workout. Whoa, make sure you take your steps light and slow. Just because it's a boot pack doesn't necessarily guarantee that you can't fall deeper. Now remember, if you lose your footing, the log goes away, okay? Just roll it off your shoulder. All right, I'll get this one down, and then I'm gonna wrap this video up, because you really don't need to watch me take all these out like this. I don't know, maybe you do want to see that. Some people like to see stuff like that, but oh well. So as you can see, I'm right down here where I started. Now I know my boot pack gets really sketchy right there, so I'm gonna take this and just throw it over there like that. All right, so